To be able to articulate that is so incredibly important. Their emotional intimacy.
Is there such a way so if I'm an avoidant, for example, or I'm an anxious, is there work I can do myself to become a secure without having to meet a secure and have them bring me over?
Yes, absolutely. One of the top things someone who is avoidant can work on is their emotional intimacy. And that begins with simply recognizing their emotions, your emotions, and articulating them. It actually seems easy, but it's incredibly challenging.
So uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable.
Especially for a man.
Yes. So for example, I could say, Stephen, how do you feel right now in this moment?
Now, in this moment, very inspired and very keen to learn.
Okay.
More, but very, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you did that effortlessly,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But now the next challenge would be, okay, well, do that with your romantic partner,
Yeah.
right? And do it in spaces where you feel vulnerable.
Yeah.
It becomes very, very challenging to say how you feel, how someone makes you feel.
It makes perfect sense because there was a void in my childhood of parenting, which I've always said has made me an entrepreneur. But in that void as well, there's a void of learning affection. So
okay.
I still call my parents by their first names. I've never called them mum and dad. We weren't like, there was no like, I love you or like hugging or stuff like that, especially in my childhood. So learning later in life to be emotional and to express how I'm feeling, and if your girlfriend says, what's wrong? Or, how do you feel about this? I'd often just lie about how I was feeling just for keep things nice and calm.
Right.
But I definitely, it's definitely something I've had to learn.
Right. But I can see that, so, I mean, you're a life learner, like you're a student of life. So I can see that you have not even begun, you've done the work, right? But for so many avoidants.
I'd say begun.
Begun, okay.
Yeah.
So, but for so many avoidants, that work has not yet begun. And being able to identify the emotion, right? And the feeling too, because, and even distinguish between the emotion and the feeling, right? But to be able to distinguish that and then to be able to articulate that is so incredibly important, because without that, you cannot have the emotional intimacy. And if you can't have emotional intimacy, you just simply can't have a relationship. You just can't. You have acquaintances, you have coworkers, you have situationships, but you don't have relationships.